What a difference a year makes. In 2020, I started this series when the world was on lockdown. According to experts in the travel industry, many of us now are making post-pandemic plans to go farther and stay longer on epic trips. Even if you're deferring travel to next year, planning a trip now is just what the doctor ordered. Research shows that planning and anticipating travel releases dopamine in the brain, which makes us instantly happier. In the next 2 episodes, I'm featuring a country that is on many people's bucket lists. I'm also celebrating my 20-year affair with Italy. If you're a romantic and can tour only one European country, if you love art, food, wine, literature, if you dig history, this is your place. Today, we'll meet 2 archaeologists, wine experts, and professional guides who continue making discoveries about the past to give us richer experiences today and a brighter tomorrow. I spoke with these gentlemen that you're about to meet last month, one day after Italy set a record for COVID-19 vaccinations and just before the curfew was lifted. On June 5th, that record was broken when 600,000 people were vaccinated in a single day. Since our interview, the gates of Italy have swung open even wider as the country gets back to business. If you're watching the YouTube version, I apologize for technical difficulties with my software. We tried a Plan B method of recording, which produced great sound, but I couldn't minimize the screen so that you could see less of me and more of my guest in the frame, especially at the beginning of the video. Still, if you're listening to the podcast, I hope you'll also watch the YouTube recording. See the link in notes so you don't miss the tour they gave live or their promotional video in the intro. What they have to say and show is educational and enlightening. So let's get to it.
Della città di Naples.
So, hello everybody. Welcome to Travel People again. And today, boy, do I have a treat for you. We are going to be talking to 2 gentlemen in Italy. And I'm actually going to let them introduce themselves, what they do, and where they are. So I know you're going to love this. Okay, guys, take it away.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, everybody. My name is Raffaele, and I am an official tour guide and a specialized archaeologist. I opened a few years ago, Cindy, a company where we offer all the best tours and experiences through all the Italy, and we are based in the wonderful city
of Naples.
Naples, yeah.
So my name is Riccardo, by the way. Let's say it's Raffaele's co-host. I always help Raffaele with all his tours. We are both archaeologists and official tour guides. And we are here today to introduce you all our incredible city, because now it's the time of the year, I guess, where we should advertise our city for the summer. So that's where we're here for.
Yes, and I wanted to tell you that I just saw an article on Travel and Leisure that Italy now is open to the U.S. You're going to start having, I know, a lot of people coming to your city. So, First of all, maybe tell them how I met you, like what you were doing during COVID when people weren't so much coming to the city.
Well, actually, during the COVID, when people could not travel, we started to invent the online experiences. And is where you met my friend and colleague, Riccardo, for the online experiences. It's something that we never did before COVID time, but we realized that the online experiences, it's a good way to meet new people, marketing our beautiful land, and then, of course, we are here talking about the beauty of our city.
Right. Yeah, it was wonderful. We made 4 different kinds of wine with ancient recipes. We learned all about their properties, and how, not just how to make them, but a lot of the background, the Yeah, it was wonderful. So I'm
And
so glad.
something about Pompeii too, right?
Yes, a lot about Pompeii, and I do want you guys to talk about that as well because that is such a fascinating place. So I'm assuming like lots of people are vaccinated now, and people are out again, and it's the Italy that we, that we love, right?
And if you want, Cindy, we can bring you live through the life of Naples if you want just a quick overview from where we are. So
Yes,
we want to
take us
show
there.
you where we are, Ricardo. Where
Yes.
we are is a
Well,
beautiful.
we want to show you basically one of the main streets of Napoli, Spacca Napoli. I didn't talk about this in the experience because it was more focused on Pompeii, but this street is one of the most important streets of the Historical Center of Napoli, which is the largest historical center of Italy and Europe too. So we will actually now we will have a view, let's say a very quick view of the life in Napoli.
So you can see how the business is and how the life is starting again straight after COVID time.
Great, great.
Ready. Andiamo, Riccardo.
Let's go.
Yes.
Take it.
We can change the camera.
Okay.
We can move on the camera on the other side. And yes, first of all, this is beautiful square where we are. This is Piazza San Domenico Maggiore, and it's right in the middle of the historical center, where you can see the great monument right in the middle there, and where me and Riccardo are at the feet of a Gothic church. Stunning. 13th century.
So actually
We can go closer to the square.
we
no?
can
Why not?
yeah, now we're gonna walk down these stairs and we will take you straight to the historical center of Napoli.
Just over there, so they can see the
Okay.
most famous bar as well, where the Sfogliatella, our typical pastry, was born. So just a quick overview from the gate of the church, actually. Yes. Look how much life is in this.
So now I'm gonna point it out. So can you see that little pastry shop over there?
Yes.
So this is one of the most famous, let's say, pastry shop of Napoli, where they actually make the best sweets of the city. Like Raffaele was telling you about the Sfogliatella too. And
That's great.
that's our obelisk. So that's how the life is going on now in Napoli. People are starting, let's say, to get back their life again.
Yeah. Wonderful. It looks so fun. That's the Italy that I remember. Yes.
Okay, so now we are going back here. So
It's so much noisy.
yeah, it's too noisy over here.
Yeah. So we are back again here. So Cindy, we are open to any question. Please feel free.
Okay. Okay. So when did you start your company? How long have you been doing this, your tour company?
My company started in 2015, so it's now about 6 years ago, and I opened my new website only a few months ago. The website is called grandtourexperience.com, and is where I selected the most interesting experiences and tours all over Italy and south of Europe.
Yes, and that that when we talked earlier, I knew, of course, you were experts in the region where you are now. But when I saw you offer tours literally all over the country. And
Correct. But we are based in the region Campania, and we offer historical tours of Naples. But for sure, the must are Pompeii, Herculaneum, Capri Island,
The Amalfi
wonderful.
Coast.
The Amalfi Coast.
Don't forget about the Amalfi Coast. That's one of the most romantic places to visit actually in Italy.
Yeah.
Like Amalfi, Positano, and Ravello.
yes, absolutely. That is way top of my list. I counted up, I've been to Italy 9 times, but I've been to Pompeii twice, Naples once. So I want to spend more time next time I go on the Amalfi Coast and where you guys are too. There'll be another person that I'm interviewing that taught me with how to make limoncello. And we did that on the Amalfi Coast. So that was really fun too. But so I read that, this concept of the grand tour, I love this because I teach literature. I've done it for many, many years. And, you always have to talk about the history and the art and the music and everything that makes, that sort of created the literature that both influenced it and was a result of everything that was going on at the time. And these grand tours were you know, all the great writers, it seems, especially the Romantics, made sure that they did this, that Italy was on the list. And so,
but that's why,
yeah.
But that's why, Cindy, I wanted to call this company the Grand Tour experience to recall again, or to build again, the famous Grand Tour that happened in the 18th, 19th century. As you were saying, Italy was at the top of the list, but one region especially was the top-notch experience, and is our regions, with the excavations of Pompeii, Herculaneum, with the Phlegraean fields, with the city of Naples, and as Goethe said, see Naples and die.
And after you'll die.
He was kind of the leader of the Romantic movement. You know, he was one of the philosophers that really led that movement.
No, I mean, actually, see Naples and die literally means in Naples you have the whole world, from the Greek origins to the Roman architecture, the Romanesque, Gothic, Baroque, Renaissance, everything in one place.
Raffaele, I would like to say one very important sentence that people usually say about Napoli, and Raffaele will confirm that. That Napoli, when people come to Napoli, they will actually cry twice, when they come and when they leave. Because when they leave, people, that's when they actually start to feel something about this city.
I love that.
Exactly. They're very, very sad when people leaves Napoli.
You know, I also read that, of course, I knew that that a lot of the Romantics were sort of wanted to get out of England, that was a lot more conservative at that time, especially people like Byron and the Shelleys and Mary Shelley. Actually, yeah, and Dr. Frankenstein of her book, she made him. He was born there, according to her, you know, fictional work. He was from Naples, so I thought that was interesting.
And also, I'm gonna tell you another secret. In the 19th century, Bram Stoker, the Dracula author, actually, he found the inspiration about Dracula in a tomb that we have here in Napoli. So, according with the tradition, the tomb of Dracula, it's here in Naples.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's great. I bet you have a lot of people that want to see that.
Yeah.
I bet so.
What are some other places that are just absolute must-sees in your city?
Well, I would you mean in Napoli or in our region?
Let's start with Napoli, and then we'll go to Pompeii and around. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So first of all, I would say Napoli, which is on top of the list, the Sansevero chapel with the famous veiled Christ, one of the most important sculptures of Europe and I guess of the world. Then I would say the Historical Center of Napoli, that I was just telling you before, is one of the largest historical centers of Europe, and it's also UNESCO World Heritage since 1997. And the Archeological Museum of Napoli, one of the most important archaeological museums from Roman and Greek stuff, I would say. So Napoli, it's I would say it's full of, let's say, must things that people they could see. That's why it's very recommended to have a guide, local guide. So the guide will show you things that you will never be able to see on your own. That's the thing.
And I know probably when you have people that bring, well, really everybody loves something that was actually you're famous for. So you might tell them what is probably the most famous food that everybody, and where do you get the best?
Oh yes, the most famous food is the pizza. The pizza was born in our city.
That's right.
Where the pizza, I guess we can get. There are many. Well, anywhere you go, you find a good spot. But my favorite, it's not the Riccardo one. Riccardo will tell here is, but my favorite is Da Michele, which is in the Historical Center, and is where Julia Roberts did the movie Eat, Pray, and Love.
It's about Sicily. So I saw that you all also do tours there. I had a ticket, and I was supposed to land there on March 9th. And then right before, you know, the pandemic shut everything down. And I was so sad because I'd never been to Sicily.
I've been there last year, Cindy, so I can confirm what you're saying. So it's actually one of the most beautiful regions that we have in Italy.
Yeah.
It's full of history, culture, food.
Many things.
Well, just in your region, let's especially talk for a minute about Pompeii, and because you guys have made some amazing discoveries yourselves there. So.
Oh yes, actually in Pompeii we are still digging over there, and just in the last March we found the entrance of a Roman villa built outside the city walls. It's something that we are telling you a preview, but an article is gonna happen very, very soon. And the last year in Pompeii, the archaeological site found the new homes with, unfortunately, the bodies of 2 people and their horses trying to escape from the eruption of 79 AD with no chance at all.
Sure. That was, to me, was the most moving thing I saw, were the bodies that were, I don't know how to explain it. You can explain how.
Plaster cast. Yeah, actually, that's the plaster cast technique, that when you have somebody that died under the ash for many, many centuries, everything organic can be decomposed. And then in the 1860s, the first time an archaeologist, Giuseppe Fiorelli, did the first plaster cast, pouring liquid plaster through the small hole, filling all the cast left by the bodies, mixing also the bones. 2 days later, the cast start to be a solid material. You go and clean the shell made of ash around, and that's why you have the plaster cast.
Yeah, just the you could see some of them were doing like this. Yeah. I mean, just the horror of what they must have experienced.
I also showed you on the experience that we also had plaster cast of roots of the plants.
Yeah.
So that was the most important discovery for the Roman dietary, for just to understand what Roman they were drinking, especially back then.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about wine and the ancient wines, the spicings, and tell us a little bit about that.
Ricardo, you are the boss. You took the tours.
I will start talking about this. So, as I was telling you, one of the most important one of the most important thing of our wine, the Neapolitan wine, I would say the Campania wine, it's the volcanic soil, which is one of the most important thing why our wine is different from the others of Italy, because the volcanic soil is way warmer and more fertile than any other type of soil that we have in Italy. That's why we can produce something, for instance, just around this mountain because of the soil. That's the most important thing of this place. I can tell you something more about the discoveries that we did thanks to, for instance, the amphoras that also I've showed you in the experience. Thanks to the amphoras, if today actually we know exactly that Roman they were in commerce with a lot of countries of the known world at that time. Why? Because the Roman wine was one of the most important and high quality wine of that time. Even though I have to tell you and I was telling you also in the experience, it's completely different from the flavor as we know today of our modern type of wine. It was very alcoholic actually.
And also Pompeii was an important center to produce a very special quality red wine. And the archaeologists 25 years ago found the carbonized seeds and a plaster cast over roots of vineyards, and they are replanting them, still producing the same quality wine of 20 centuries ago.
Wow. Yeah, I think you predicted that, or you said most people like was it the elixir of life is the favorite of most people?
Ipograsso. That's what most of my friends tell me. Because I don't like to call my, let's say, guest. I always like to say, you're my friend, no guest.
Yes.
For most of my, let's say, clients or friends, they actually appreciate very, very high the Ipograsso wine.
The Hippocrates, yes.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. We had that. Sally and I, my friend, she found you guys, and for her birthday, she wanted us to be in Italy, with you making wine, and so we had it, after it had time to do its thing, and I really loved the red wines. They were great.
Good.
Yeah.
The white wines are, let's say, lighter than the red. Why many people maybe don't appreciate that much the white wines, but the white wines you should know how to drink them with some seafood or some, I would say, some tapas. But for tapas, I mean appetizer, something light. So that's why maybe we have a different dietary maybe in Italy, especially Napoli, maybe with US. That's why maybe a lot of people in Napoli
they love the white wines.
They love more white wines than reds.
Yeah. Because in Napoli, like seafood, yeah.
Seafood, correct. That's because
we are
seafood, yeah.
very, very addicted to seafood. We usually have, let's say, seafood at least 3-4 times a week.
which is a good thing, which is one of the most important part of our diet. And imagine drinking a glass of wine, no, Cindy, with a beautiful landscape behind yourself. Could be the Mount Vesuvius, or could be the Bay of Naples, or the island of Capri. That's a beautiful picture, and I will recommend you when you will come here to find a restaurant with a nice terrace, enjoy not a glass, a bowl of wine with this view.
But we will recommend the
Of
restaurant,
course.
so we will
Yes.
actually guide
me to the best. Yeah.
I will guide you everywhere, not just through the historical center, also in, let's say, in the normal life of Napoli.
I love that. You know, so one thing, so I lived abroad for a couple of years. I lived in Morocco and went to Spain a lot, and you know, Italy, and you know, all around. And I had never really here calamari. A lot of people like calamari, but the octopus, like the grilled and the buttery, you know, I'd never had that, and that is probably my favorite thing now. I love it.
We got also the small octopus. There it's called alla Luciana. It's called
with tomatoes, with a spicy, with a pepper, and also in the historical center you can find a lot of fish shops where you can see, sometimes it's quite sad, a live octopus, and then you can make salad of octopus.
I love that. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you like raw fish
raw
too.
Fish, yeah.
Raw fish, it's very common in Napoli.
Like
so
tartare.
like tartare, or sometimes raw shrimps, or sometimes
Nice.
prawns.
Delicious.
They are delicious. This is what the Neapolitan appetizer is about.
Yeah.
Yes, and we're going to link to your YouTube channel because you actually show us. You know, I remember there was an octopus kind of crawling around, and you know, but we get to see all of that. So that's really great. Or now you got some sort of award.
It was a discovery that we did in the last March, digging for the telephone line around the modern city of Pompeii, just 1 meters below the actual modern road. We found the structure and we did the excavations, and that's the entrance of a Roman villa built outside the ancient walls of Pompeii. That's a huge discovery.
And Raffaele discovered it, so
that's
yeah. Oh, he got this big award, but explain to them.
We get some rewards soon.
Yes, I saw that. So I'm a little intimidated to be, you know, interviewing you guys because you've done so much, but explain to them what the importance of that, this thing about the Roman versus the, you know, why was that a big discovery?
Well, actually, discovering things like this can help us to understand better how was first the life in the past. That's what we do as archaeologists. We dig understanding the info of the ancient times, saving them for the next generations. Second thing, especially for our discovery, we can understand how was the city of Pompeii outside the city walls, because we know a lot about Pompeii, but within the walls. This one here is important because we can understand how was working the life outside the gates of the famous Pompeii.
Yeah.
I will also spend a very good word for Herculaneum too.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of people, they just, let's say, skip that city, but I can tell you it's less famous than Pompeii for many reasons. But I will spend a very good word for Herculaneum, which is an incredible archaeological site. That was the second city buried along Pompeii, so under the same eruption. That's why I will definitely say people do not just visit Pompeii, also Herculaneum too. Herculaneum is an incredible archaeological site.
Yeah, we have so many cities buried, unfortunately, during the eruption of 79, but for the tourists, for the travelers, for our guests, and for us as researchers, literally this region, it's the highest density of archaeological sites in all over Italy.
Wow.
So Riccardo was mentioning Herculaneum. That's a beautiful site. Most of us knows Pompeii, but go to Herculaneum. Yes, you won't regret it.
You know, you want to preserve the history and the art for future generations. You also, I noticed, you do something for the sustainability. There's something.
Oh, yes.
Tell them about that.
So actually, whoever is buying a tour from our website, thegrandtourexperience.com, we plant a tree in the world.
love that.
And you can choose the place where you want to plant that tree. That tree will be yours forever. And also we try to avoid always cars when we do our tours. That's why me and Riccardo, we do a lot of walking tours.
Most of them
In Pompeii or Naples. And if we need to use a car, we try to get an electric car, actually.
Before we go, I wanted to kind of say, or I always ask people, you know, if you were to advise, you know, a young person, based on your life journey, the things that you've learned, because on this show we do talk about travel, but we just talk about living your best lives, you know, meeting kindred spirits, fulfilling dreams. And I know that for me, Italy was a country that I absolutely fell in love with. And part of that was the people. And I remember I was teaching English in northern Italy one summer, and my adult students, I remember, you know, would talk about the way they would put it is, we don't live to work, we work to live. And it was just a different philosophy than so many people, you know, unfortunately have. So just kind of explain, what is the Italian way of life to you?
Well, I would say in Italy, well, so you just want me to tell you what is the Italian life about? Yeah. Okay, so I would say Italy is a very hard country to live. It's one of the best country to visit, but it's actually one of the hardest country to live. But I would say that, for instance, Cindy, I traveled a lot in my life, like Raffaele. We both lived abroad for many years. Me for 5 years, Raffaele for more than 3 in London. So we actually had to do some experiences abroad in order to get some very good jobs in Italy. So that's how basically the life is here. So if you got the chance, you will get a very nice position in, let's say, for the job that you are applying for. But otherwise, you need to just invest on yourself. Investing yourself means learning another language, doing some experiences, real life experiences, which sometimes in Italy you don't get the chance to do this. That's why sometimes you are forced to escape from this reality. But I will definitely say, I will say again, so Italy is one of the best places, one of the best country as a tourist. So if you want to visit this country, I will always recommend Italy. And it's not because I'm Italian or from Naples, because that's, I would say the truth. But it's a very hard place to visit. So you must be ready if you're moving in Italy, or if you decide to start a new business in Italy. You must be ready, because it's not so easy as it could be in the rest of Europe. Because I live in London, so I know how things are abroad, and they are quite different from us. But
also actually, the life of the young generations in Naples, well, in Italy in general, it's different from the other countries, because in Italy we invest a lot in the studies, a lot. I mean, the school is so important, the university is so important, but despite, for example, let's say US or Northern Europe, where the university are preparing you to the job market, to the work after, in Italy you need to build yourself. And that's why I guess that there is an extra gear in the young Italian generations, because you need to build yourself. You need to be a self-business person to break the wall of life. Otherwise, I mean, it will be always in your comfort zone. So my suggestion, even if you're coming to Italy, leave your comfort zone and try to enjoy the country as a real Italian, because you will love this place and you will never leave anymore.
But that's an advice that I will give to young in general.
Yeah.
Just do not stay in your comfort zone. Like, I would love to stay back then with my mom, not with my family, when I was 19, 20. But I had to leave. So sometimes life taking you, in front of these issues that you don't have to skip them, but you have to break through them. So that's what I think about life, because I guess it's not easy for anyone.
Okay. They have also to close the gates of the church.
This is perfect. We are ready to sign off.
We are
Thank you guys so much, and we'll be in contact. I appreciate this so much.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you,
Cindy.
Cindy.
Okay.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.
To book a tour with Raffaele and Riccardo, please see the links in the episode notes. Also see links to follow them on social media. My focus on Italy will continue with the next episode and on my social media and on my blog, Southern Girl Gone Global. I'll be giving ways to do this summer Italian style wherever you live. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel or podcast, please do so. And until we meet again, ciao.